Hey there, Black Bear fans, and welcome to From the Den. We're the first student-run broadcasting group here on campus, bringing you all things Black Bear athletics. I'm Allison Willette, and tonight we'll be breaking down all the must-see moments of this past week's matchups that have Black Bear Nation on its toes. Riding high off a successful fall season that saw yet another America East championship by the women's soccer team, UMaine's winter sports are in full swing and promise the same dominance. This past weekend, women's ice hockey faced UMaine's most notorious rival in the long-anticipated border battle, finishing off the weekend with a massive sweep against UNH. Winning 6 out of their last 8 games, the team stands 6th overall in the Hockey East and hopes to ride this winning momentum through their final 7 games of the regular season. Women's sports also saw domination on the basketball court, with the Black Bears securing a 30-point win over UMass Lowell. Sitting at 3rd place in the conference, we look ahead to yet another border battle this coming Thursday with a 3-game win streak on the line at New Hampshire. Men's basketball finished a thrilling 1-point victory over the UMass Lowell Riverhawks on the road after trailing by 10 at the half. With 2 players, AJ Lopez and Keon Burns, documenting a career high in points scored, this overtime win secures a 2nd place spot in America East and sets up a 5-game win streak as they gear up to face the UNH Wildcats at home on Thursday evening. Maine Swim and Dive had an active week as the women's team put up 2 individual victories and a relay win and an overall loss at New Hampshire last Friday. Additionally, the men and women's team both fell to Providence College the following day. The men brought home 5 individual victories, with the women bringing home a total of 6. The versatility of the team was shown with an individual win in all 4 strokes as well as a relay. The men's ice hockey team had the weekend off as they worked back from a split weekend with UConn and look forward to yet another home Husky battle with Northeastern on Friday and UMass Amherst on Sunday. UMaine's men's and women's track and field are coming off a hard-fought performance at UMass Lowell's Riverhawk Classic this past weekend. They're gearing up for the Boston University Invitational, where they will compete in the Terrier Classic next weekend. That's what we have for you today, folks. From victories to upsets to hero stories, let's dive even further into UMaine's winter sports live from the Den. Now to Brianna Townsend with more men's and women's ice hockey highlights.
Thank you, Allison. Black Bear fans were deprived of their beloved number 6 nationally ranked hockey team this weekend as the boys had a restorative weekend off after splitting the weekend with UConn. On top of some hard work gearing up for Friday face-off against Northeastern Huskies, the boys had time to show their support for the women's ice hockey team in their intense border battle against UNH. The culture of UMaine athletics runs deep, as even on days off, athletes have time to support each other and, most importantly, rally to bring down the Wildcats. Coming off a split weekend last season, the boys are hoping to take home a convincing win against Northeastern and ride the momentum to sweep the weekend against UMass Amherst on Sunday. These matchups come after UMaine surged to 6th overall in the nation, making fans all the more fired up for games to come. Although the mindset remains one game at a time, there is no doubt that Valentine's Day border battle of UNH is what the team and Black Bear Nation are waiting for. What could be more romantic than a date with a UMaine victory? UMaine's women's ice hockey team were the first to face the long-awaited border battle as they hosted UNH Wildcats in a Friday-Saturday series this last weekend. Maine had been coming off 4 wins their last 6 games, and Wildcats had achieved an impressive 2-0 shutout over the ranked BU Terriers. The team was happy to be home in the Alfond Arena after over a month and a half off, and the Black Bears were brought with positive news they welcomed back starting goalie Julia Pichetti following her October 12th injury. Friday game was a tight 1-1 stalemate until sophomore Lily Fetch sealed the deal with the 3rd period, and Maine led the scoring with a quick goal in the 2nd minute. Cruising into the 3rd period with a 4-3 lead over the Wildcats, Pichetti kept her composure and sold a potential game tire with under a second left to make it cross the line after time had already expired. Following a hard-earned Black Bear-style sweep, the Maine moves to 8-18-1 overall and 7-12-1 in Hockey East Conference. Sitting at now 6th overall, they hope to ride their success, move through their last 7 conference games with confidence. The team is on the road this weekend for midday matchups with Providence College and Holy Cross this Friday and Saturday. Now to Emily Bontadovas with the basketball highlights.
Thanks, Bree. If you missed this one, you missed a good one. The men's team pulled off a thrilling victory this past Thursday at UMass Lowell, winning 86-85 in overtime. AJ Lopez was on fire, leading the Black Bears with perfect shooting in the first half by going 4 for 4 from the field, including 3 three-pointers to keep the Black Bears in striking distance in the first half. They went to the locker room down 48-38. Luckily, Keon Burns led the charge out of the gate, pushing a 7-0 run to cut the deficit to 3 right out of the break. Burns led the Black Bears with 28 points, a career high for him. For the rest of regulation time, the teams traded buckets up and down the court, eventually landing at a tie of 75 to push the game into overtime. With under a minute left in overtime, the Black Bears were down 85-81. In 30 seconds, Maine rallied to score the final 5 points to beat the Riverhawks. Along with Burns, Lopez set a career high with 27 points. As a team, Maine scored 18 points off of UMass Lowell's turnovers and 32 points in the paint. Maine sits at second in America East standings beneath Bryant, our team's only loss, and has a conference record of 5-1 plus a 5-game win streak, which should set us up for an exceptional game against rival UNH. Maine will host the University of New Hampshire this Thursday at 6 p.m. in a border battle matchup in the Pit. On the women's side, a midweek showdown against UMass Lowell resulted in a convincing 74-44 win that landed the women's basketball team a third-place spot in America East Conference. Forward, Caroline Dotsey put on a standout performance with a total of 20 points, followed closely by Caroline Bornman with a total of 16. Bornman is no stranger to UMaine athletics. Highlights, as her last performance against NJIT inducted her into the 1,000-point club, scoring 34 points, ripping down 13 rebounds, and adding 6 assists for the win. Bornman was also named America East Player of the Week. Sitting behind University of Albany and University of Vermont, UMaine has a conference record of 5-2 with an overall win percentage of .500 at 10-10. The Black Bears will look to add to their 3-game win streak during their next game this Thursday, January 30th at 6 p.m. The game is the highly anticipated border battle against the University of New Hampshire Wildcats and will take place at Lundholm Gymnasium in Durham, New Hampshire. Now to Allison Willett with your indoor track, swim, and dive updates.
Thanks, Emily. This past weekend, the men's and women's track team made their way down to Boston to compete in the Riverhawk Classic hosted by UMass Lowell, with the men competing on Friday and the women on Saturday. For the women, the 200-meter dash and the weighted throw were Maine's most successful events. Senior Kelsey Horse finished second overall with a sprint time of 25.52 seconds, with senior Cheyenne Figueroa also finishing second with a throw distance of 18.74 meters. The men featured a second overall performance by senior Eamon Sweeney in the 60-meter hurdles and a second overall finish in the 4x400 relay that included Connor Machon, Nolan Failer, Josh Sewell, and Andrew Card. The indoor season continues next weekend with another trip down to Boston to compete in the BU Terrier Classic. On Saturday, the men's and women's swim and dive teams lost to Providence. On the men's side, Matthew Benderitis notched a victory for Maine in the 200-meter backstroke, with Joey Strauss winning the 100-meter butterfly. The men registered 5 individual victories in the overall loss. Our female Black Bears grabbed 6 individual victories, along with a relay victory in the overall loss. Nikki Harkins got a pair of wins in the freestyle categories. Eva Welsh also added 2 victories for Maine in the 200-meter breaststroke. Hannah Deegan added a victory in the freestyle as well, one of her 5 victories for the season. That's all we have for you tonight, Black Bears. Thanks for spending some time with us. This week, we look towards more consequential NCAA matchups that seek to perch Maine at the top of the America East. Women's basketball faces off against the Vermont Catamounts this Saturday at 1:00 p.m. here at Skip Chappell Court. Men's ice hockey will host the Northeastern Huskies on Friday, happy birthday Bananas, and we'll have all of Saturday to prepare for the Amherst Minutemen on Sunday. We hope to see you there at as many home contests as possible, as tickets are free for all UMaine students with a valid Maine card. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at UMaine_FromTheDen for more highlights, behind-the-scenes content, and updates from the heart of Black Bear Nation. And be sure to tune in next week as we bring you more action, stories, and more from the Den. As always, Black Bears, fill those steins and go blue.